I gave him 8 years, my body after 2 miscarriages, my savings and my future. I thought I knew every corner of his heart. I was wrong. For 14 months he had another woman, another apartment key, and another lifeware. He called her baby, and came home to me smelling like her perfume. I found out on a Tuesday in our bed, with our wedding photo watching. This is the true story of how love turned into slow-motion murder of the soul. Stay until the end. Because the worst part isn't the cheating. It's what he did the day I finally left. I'm Sarah. Tonight I'm ripping open the marriage everyone called goals so you can see exactly how betrayal hides in plain sight. You'll watch the tiny clues I ignored, the moment my world exploded, the confrontation that left me shaking on the bathroom floor, and the brutal choice I made when apologies weren't enough. This isn't revenge porn. This is survival porn. By the end, you'll know the 7 red flags I missed, the exact words that broke him, and how I rebuilt from ashes. If you've ever felt that sick twist in your gut that says something's wrong, but you're scared to look, this is for you. Keep watching. The truth is ugly, but silence is deadlier. We met at 24. He was the charming project manager who remembered how I take my coffee and sent good morning texts before I even opened my eyes. 8 years later we had the house with the blue shutters, the golden retriever, and the joint savings account labeled Italy 2024. Friends called us couple goals. I posted ring close-ups on anniversaries. He liked every single one within 30 seconds. On paper, perfect. But perfection is quiet. The first crack appeared 18 months ago. He started working late 3 nights a week. Phones always face down. Showers the second he walked in the door. I told myself tech companies are stressful. I told myself I was lucky he had a job that paid for our life. I told myself trust looks like not asking questions. Then came the tiny lies. Battery died when he didn't answer for 5 hours. A $400 dinner on the credit card, with clients that he couldn't name. Cologne I didn't buy suddenly on his neck. Each time I swallowed the lump in my throat and smiled. Because fighting felt scarier than pretending. I didn't know the pretending was already killing me. The first real clue was stupidly small. His phone buzzed at 2:14 a.m. I rolled over half asleep and saw the preview. Can't wait to taste you again tomorrow. Where the red set. From a contact saved as Mark, plumbing. My stomach dropped through the mattress. He snatched the phone, muttered something about spam, and went to the bathroom for 20 minutes. I lay there in the dark listening to the shower run, telling myself it was nothing. But once you see the crack, you can't unsee it. Suddenly everything glowed red. New lock screen passcode. Apple Watch is always in airplane mode at night. Gym bag that smelled like women's perfume. A second phone bill on the bank statement for a number I didn't recognize. I became a detective in my own marriage. I checked the mileage on his car. I borrowed his iPad and found deleted WhatsApp chats restored with recovery software. Every discovery was a fresh stab. Hotel receipts, lingerie selfies that weren't mine, and countdown calendars to our weekend. Her name was Chloe, 27. Worked in his office. Called him babe. In messages while I was at home cooking the lasagna, he said was his favorite. I printed everything. Hundreds of pages. Kept them in a folder labeled Taxes 2023 in the garage. Some nights I sat on the cold concrete floor reading them by flashlight, crying so hard I thought my ribs would break. I still slept beside him. I still said I love you. Because saying it out loud felt like the last thread holding me together. The night it all exploded was ordinary. He said he had a client dinner. Kissed my forehead. Left at 6:47 p.m. At 11:12 p.m. I opened his MacBook to look for our tax file. The Messages app was still logged in, synced to the second phone. There they were. 14 months of a life I never knew existed. Photos of them in the apartment we almost bought together. Videos of her wearing the necklace I thought he lost. Voice notes of him telling her, "You're my future," while I was at my grandmother's funeral. I threw up in the kitchen sink. Then I sat on the floor and scrolled until my eyes bled. At 3:07 a.m. he walked in, saw the open laptop, saw my face and knew. He didn't even try to lie at first. He just said, I'm sorry you had to find out this way. As if there was a gentle way to find out your entire marriage was a stage play. I waited until morning. I wanted daylight for this death. I laid every printed page on the dining table like evidence in a murder trial. When he saw the stack, his face went gray. Stage 1, denial. It's not what you think. Stage 2, gaslighting. You're overreacting. We were on a break in his head. Stage 3, blame. You were always working, you stopped trying, you let yourself go after the miscarriages. I didn't scream. I just asked one question. How long have you been in love with her? He cried. Real tears. Said he didn't know who he was anymore. Said he felt alive with her. Said he was going to leave me after Italy. That one sentence broke whatever was left of me. I asked him to pack a bag and get out before noon. He begged. Knelt. Offered therapy, transparency, anything. I looked at the man I'd loved since I was 24 and felt nothing. Just cold, clear certainty. He left at 11:58 a.m. with one suitcase and the dog he swore was too much work. Escalation tension peaks. The weeks after were war. He love-bombed. Flowers, letters, showing up at my work crying. Then rage. Accusing me of pushing him into her arms. Then bargaining. Offered to fire her, sell the house, and start over anywhere. I said no to everything. He told mutual friends I was unstable, hormonal, and making it all up. Half our circle believed him. The other half ghosted me to stay neutral. I lost 20 pounds. Couldn't sleep without nightmares of them together. Started therapy 3 times a week. Froze our accounts. Changed the locks. He tried to break in once at 2 a.m. The Ring camera caught him sobbing on the porch. The worst moment? Finding out she was pregnant. He didn't tell me. I found it on the second phone I still had access to. 8 weeks along. The math said the baby was conceived the weekend he told me he was at a leadership retreat. I sat in my car and screamed until my throat bled. I filed for divorce 37 days after D-Day. No fault state, so it was surgically clean. I kept the house, the dog, and every shard of my dignity. He kept the lies, the pregnant girlfriend, and the version of himself I no longer recognized. I sold the bedroom set we chose on our honeymoon. Burnt 8 years of love letters in the backyard fire pit while drinking the expensive wine we were saving for our 10th anniversary. The flames felt like baptism. Then I opened the joint savings account labeled Italy 2024. There was $18,400 in it. I stared at the balance for a long time, remembering how we used to add $200 every payday, whispering about pasta in Positano and sunset in Capri. I closed the laptop, walked to the travel agent the next morning, and said, "Send me anywhere but Italy. One way. Tomorrow." 24 hours later I landed in Santorini with nothing but a carry-on and a heart that felt like broken glass wrapped in barbed wire. Greece was supposed to be punishment. Instead it became resurrection. The first 3 days I barely left the whitewashed cave hotel in Oahe. I drank cheap rose on the balcony, cried into the caldera, and let the sun burn the tears off my cheeks. On the 4th evening I forced myself down the 300 steps to a moody bay because staying in the room felt like dying slower. That's where I met Luca. He was sitting alone at the edge of the tiny port, sketching the fishing boats in charcoal. Tall, dark curls, a linen shirt half unbuttoned. The kind of handsome that makes you angry at the universe for being unfair. I walked past him toward the water, trying not to stare. He looked up, smiled softly, and said in a low Italian accent, "The light here makes everyone look like they're already forgiven." I laughed, bitter. Some of us aren't looking for forgiveness. He closed the sketchbook. "Then what are you looking for?" I didn't have an answer, so I just sat on the rocks a few meters away and watched the sunset bleed across the sea. He was 36, divorced for 2 years, had no children, owned a small architecture firm in Florence, and came to Santorini every June to remember how to feel. He never asked why I was alone. He just listened like my pain was a language he already spoke fluently. Night 2 turned into night 3, then 4. We met every sunset at the same rocks. He cooked for me in his rented villa. Fresh fish, tomatoes still warm from the vine, and bread. He baked at 3 a.m. Because I mentioned once I missed the smell of yeast. We swam naked under the full moon in a hidden cove. He kissed the silver stretch mark lines on my hips and called them lightning that survived the storm. I cried during sex the first time, not from sadness, but from relief that my body could still feel something other than betrayal. On the sixth night he took my hands and said, "I don't want this to be just a holiday story. Come with me to Florence. Or I'll follow you wherever you need to go. I'm not asking you to trust me yet. I'm asking you to let me earn it, one day at a time." I laughed through tears. "You barely know me. I know you ordered your coffee black even though you hate it because you're punishing yourself. I know you flinch when someone raises their voice. I know you say I'm fine like it's armor. And I know when you laugh for real, the whole island feels brighter. That's enough for now." I flew home 2 days later. He flew with me. We didn't rush. He rented an apartment 10 minutes from my house, so I could keep my space, my dog, and my therapy. He learned my nightmares and never tried to fix them, just held me until they passed. He met my friends, let them grill him for hours, and answered every question about Chloe, about timelines, and about intentions. He showed up every single day. 1 year after D-Day, on the exact date my ex moved out, Luca took me back to Santorini. Same rocks. Same sunset. He got down on one knee with a simple gold band and said, "I want to spend the rest of my life proving that good men exist. Marry me, Sarah. Not to be your last love story." I said yes before he finished the sentence. We married quietly on a cliff in Crete the following spring. Just 20 people. My dog was the ring bearer. I wore a second-hand lace dress that cost less than my original wedding gown, and it felt a million times more beautiful. Sometimes people ask if I'm scared it will happen again. I tell them the truth. Yes. Every day. But fear isn't the opposite of love, apathy is. And I will never be apathetic again. My ex. He and Chloe broke up before the baby was born. He sends the occasional "thinking of you" text on holidays. I don't reply. I don't need to. I already won. Stay in the fight. Even when your heart is ashes. Even when trust feels impossible. Even when the world says, you're too broken to love again. Stay in the fight. Because somewhere, on a quiet rock under a bleeding sunset, someone is waiting to prove that betrayal doesn't get the final word. You do. I sleep diagonally across the king bed now. But most nights there's a warm Italian body on the other side. Breathing steady. Holding my hand like it's the most precious thing he's ever touched. And for the first time in years, I fall asleep without checking if the phone is face down. If this story cracks something open in you, comment on the exact moment your stomach dropped hardest. Was it the 2 a.m. text? The pregnancy? The friends who chose him? Type it below. I read every single one. Like if you're done accepting crumbs. Subscribe for the next story. A wife who received divorce papers on Christmas morning. Tomorrow night. The Christmas divorce papers. The brutal story of a woman who woke up to legal papers under the tree while he smiled for family photos. Same raw truth. Same zero mercy. Turn notifications on. I'll see you in the ruins. You're not alone.